What is going on, FA Nation? Jonathan here with Henry Wilson. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm MLB DFS Game Day Playbook Preview Show. We're taking a look at the 7-game Monday slate here over on DraftKings. Henry, you were on the playbook today. We talk a lot about the MLB and the MLB pitching rotations in general. As you work your way through some of these teams, sometimes the pitching slates can be a bit suspect. And for this 7-game slate, where the chalk pitching goes today, I think, is maybe a bit interesting.
Yeah, it's weird because all of my favorite pitchers of today are not on the slate because we have Tariq Skubal, Hunter Green going, even Ranger Suarez is good, like Jared Jones, all not on this slate. So all of the really good pitchers that I love not available here. So we got some interesting pitching to look at today. Yeah, it will be curious to see how it lands.
Yeah, for sure. We appreciate you all tuning in. If you haven't already, hit the like button. It's a free way to support what we do here on the Fantasy Alarm channel. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them into the chat. Henry and I are here to help you guys out, set your lineups, answer any betting questions you may have there as well. Popping today's playbook into the chat there for everybody, so you can check that out if you're a Fantasy Alarm member. I say it's interesting because if you look at the highest projected roster starting pitcher for today's slate, it is Dylan Cease in course. It is very rare that we look at starting pitchers in Coors Field, but as we know, the Rockies offense sucks. Whether they're home or away this year doesn't seemingly matter. They were shut out over the weekend by Seattle's pitching in Coors. Dylan Cease has pitched relatively well here for the Padres. Going over there, 1.99 ERA, sub-1 whip. The strikeouts have been nice, and Coors Field be damned seemingly on this slate when you're looking at where the roster ship's going.
Yeah, I gotta say I agree with it. Yeah, not often you want to go after a pitcher in Coors, but Dylan Cease is just far and away the best pitcher on this slate, I think. If anyone's going to get you double-digit strikeouts today, it's Dylan Cease. Sure, Colorado's scary, but their offense isn't. So, I'm going to take the high strikeout rate from them still and assume that their offense isn't good enough to do anything even in Coors. And I totally get it. And I'm absolutely going to go with the public there and be happy to play Dylan Cease today.
Yeah, 100% in agreement with you on that one. Where else are you going when it comes to your the pitching here today?
Yeah, on the top end there, Brady Singer being the most expensive pitcher, that's crazy to me. I'm not paying over $9,000 for Brady Singer. And Reed Detmers, I like, but Baltimore's scary. So I'm dropping down to actually Yusei Kikuchi today. He has been fantastic so far. And I, really think that he can hold down this Kansas City offense. He has 9 strikeouts in each of his last 2 games through 6 innings. He's just missing bats. He looks really good. The Toronto offense the Kansas City offense has been pretty decent. But I just think that he has great upside today compared to a lot of the other pitchers. And yeah, I think that he could do some more damage today. And maybe it won't be another 9 strikeouts, but it could still be really positive.
Yeah, when you're looking at obviously the pitching position here for today and where some of that rostership is going, I mean, we mentioned obviously Cease is getting some love here. But Kikuchi, I think, right there in the mid-tier as well, just sort of given the recent numbers, the strikeout numbers, as you talked about, 9, 9, and 7. 2 of those games against the Yankees, obviously 1 against Seattle, certainly makes some sense there. Where are you at Bryce Elder? You got, didn't start the year with the team, started at AAA, pitched well at AAA, gets called up, home versus Miami. We know the win equity is going to be there for him.
Yeah, it's really good win chance. It's a poor offense. He could be decent. I'm okay going there. I don't know if I love it just because who knows what we're going to get. He's not that great of a pitcher. Honestly, I think he is probably more of a bullpen guy, if I'm being honest, but who knows? Yeah. We'll see what he can do. But no, I don't hate it because again, you might get a win. Miami's not a good offense. So it's not somewhere I think I want to go, but I'm not going to ridicule someone who wants to go after Bryce Elder here.
Yeah, I think looking just for some value on this slate, where else would you be looking to go? Would you venture down and take the 4K Albert Suarez here?
No, I don't think so. Again, 4K for a pitcher, you can put a whole lot of money in your offense, but no, I'm not going to do that today. I do like Chris Paddock though. he has not been good so far. So like I get that. It was
Well,
only
one very bad start, two like
yeah,
okay, right? Like
but it's been against the Brewers, the Dodgers, and the Orioles. Like those are three
right.
really good teams, and now he faces the White Sox, who are horrifically bad. And like he has good stuff. So I think that we could see a bounce back of him being able to like actually get some strikeouts today because the White Sox are going to strike out against everybody. And so I like the cheap price for Chris Paddock and getting a kind of bounce back start here after 3 really tough offenses that he had to face to start the season.
Yeah, Paddock, and I actually don't mind the pitch on the opposite side of that. I think Jonathan Cannon here made his debut against Kansas City, 5 innings, an earned run, 3 strikeouts. Minnesota, second highest strikeout rate in baseball right now against righties. So if you're maybe chasing some potential strikeout here, maybe Jonathan Cannon on the other side of that matchup. You're right, though. White Sox offense is bad. They did get, obviously Eloy Jimenez is back in that lineup. He homered yesterday. They have Gavin Sheets, who's been hitting the ball relatively well to start the year, but that's mostly it for the White Sox lineup until they get like Luis Robert back here. But any other starting pitching you're looking at here today, or are you ready to move on?
No, I'm ready to move on. That's all I like today. Everywhere else is scary.
Yeah, 7-game slate. Not a lot of great pitching here on this slate. So you're going to be taking some risks, most likely. Catcher position. Where are we going here today?
I really like that the middle end there of catcher actually with that like Travis d'Arnaud, who had a 3 home run game recently facing Ryan Weathers. I think he's a really good bat in the middle of a super strong offense. Ryan Jeffers batting cleanup. Again, you highlighted Cannon, but how much is he going to really hold down? And I think the Twins can have a good offensive day. So I like Ryan Jeffers. He's been hitting well. And I also like going down a little farther to Luis Camposano there, who crushes lefties really well. Not so far this season, but I'm going to trust the career numbers that he's a great hitter against lefties. Yeah. And it's in Coors against Gomber. So, yeah. So a couple guys in the middle I really like there. What about you?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I probably was just plugging in Campusano into my lineups today. Again, last year, obviously, had ridiculous numbers against lefties. Under 4K Coors exposure. There's obviously not a lot of that, especially on the Padres side here today. And then, we'll see what happens when the rest of these lineups come out. You and I always talk about that. Starting lineups will come out. Maybe you'll get a $2,500 like Omar Narvaez or Theis in the lineup, something like that. And you're like, all right, sure, I'll punt catcher $2,500 and we'll spend our money elsewhere. At first base. Now, again, this is a 7-game slate. So, some of our usual suspects that we go to not on the main slate here today. You have Olsen, lefty. You have Alonso, Walker. Pascantino is lefty. Like, do you have a favorite of the top price plays here?
If I'm going for those top guys, I'm probably going with Pete Alonso. I think Wynn looked pretty good in his first outing, but I don't know how great of a pitcher he really is. And the power that Pete Alonso provides every day against anybody is huge. And so if I think I'm going to pay up today, instead of trying to go with the like Matt Olson, lefty, who's been really struggling at the plate the last week, give me Pete Alonso here in what seems like a decent matchup. And that huge power potential.
Sure. I think go there. I think Ryan Mountcastle, even though I like Reed Detmers a lot, Mountcastle is a guy that's historically hit lefties really well. And, Baltimore's offense is just firing right now. So can really look to go wherever you want there. Our guy Pod in the chat as well. Dwayne in there. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys have any questions, again, feel free to throw them in the chat. We're here to help you out today. If you wanted to go Salvi Perez at first, you certainly have that option. Cronenworth is lefty in Coors. Turner hits cleanup. I mean, is there any obvious value plays for you today?
I don't mind down to Justin Turner, who has been hitting pretty well, and I already said I don't really trust Brady Singer. Sure. I don't understand why he's the top pitcher of the slate, so he doesn't scare me. I'm willing to actually stack some Toronto bats against him today. But I don't love a lot of the cheaper options. Like I agree with you. I like Ryan Mountcastle as far as if you're not going top end, but no one else really on the low end is jumping out to me to someone I want to go after to try to save money at first base today.
Yeah. Obviously Kirilloff, if you're not going Cannon, has some power. He's actually leading off today. Wilmer Flores is somebody that generally hits lefties well over his course of his career. We'll see if I imagine he's in the lineup for the Giants. So Quintana has been frustratingly just okay this season, where you're not really like hammering him, but he hasn't been good, but you're not getting enough offense consistently. I mentioned Gavin Sheets. He's hitting cleanup. He's 3,200 again. Dude is just nothing but power. He kind of like, you think like what Jake Berger was with the White Sox, where he's just a bunch of home runs, like 250 average. Like Gavin Sheets is sort of filling that void. So maybe if you you were anti-Paddock today, there's a $3,200 Gavin Sheets with some home run potential, but there really isn't anything else for me after that.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, 3,200 for Sheets though. Consider like how many other teams can you pay 3,200 for probably the best offensive player on the team
On their lineup? Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
You do a little. When we did the pre-show this morning, we actually did a little Sheets Jimenez 2-man stack there, and
they're cheap.
They were power. Cheap. Yeah. Our guy Julian saying Cease and Kikuchi, let's go. Yeah, we're definitely in on that combo today at the pitching position for sure. All right, second base. This is where we start to make some decisions, where we want to spend our money. If we're looking to, get some Coors exposure, Xander Bogaerts is 5K. He is not playing like a 5K player. He's getting a big bump because it is Coors Field. It's against Austin Gomber. I didn't find myself wanting to spend for Xander Bogaerts here, but again, on such a small slate, there really are only so many options at each position where you're like, all right, this is a good player.
Yeah, I would maybe pay up for Xander Bogaerts, especially if you are trying to stack those Padres in Coors. Sure. But you're right. He's not been playing like a $5,000 player, but I think he will start to hit more. It's Xander Bogaerts. He's a great hitter, so I am okay with going for Xander Bogaerts. But I also think there's some cheaper options you go to. I like Nolan Gorman. I don't really trust Brandon Pfaadt, and I think Cardinals provide some good offense, but sure. I also don't hate just paying all the way down for like a Kevin Biggio today. Like I said, I'm kind of okay with stacking against Brady Singer a little bit, especially some of these lefty bats who are hitting decently for Toronto. So, you could try to go there today and save some money. I think
ownership wise, it's very far and away Xander Bogaerts at $2,100, but then David Fletcher actually is your second highest rostered second baseman today. 2,300, gonna hit bottom of the order for Atlanta here with pure punt spot. I think obviously is where people are going with this direction. He is a righty versus a lefty. Wrap around, Acuna hits behind him, so you're either 22% of the field is playing Xander Bogaerts, just under 9% is playing David Fletcher, and then it's just like you said, dart throws at the rest of the field there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to throw a dart, might as well be on an offense like the Braves.
Right. And hope he gets on base and scores on a home run by Acuna or something, right? Like
exactly.
That's where he's at. King of Smack
saying a home run. David
Paddock might have a bounce back game. He's due for one against the White Sox. Is the spot. Sucks when they're chalky because chalky how Paddock is. He is. A lot of people are going Paddock today as well, and it is a good spot. Again, if you're not in on Paddock, these are the tournament days where maybe you fade the field a little bit and see if he struggles, or you make multiple lineups and get some exposure either way. At third base, you have Austin Riley, Manny Machado. I think those are the two clear plays. Riley versus Weathers, Machado in Coors against Gomber. I think there's a reason why a guy like Fletcher is getting love. It's because everybody looks at second base and it's like, well, would I rather spend $5K on Xander or spend that money on Machado or Tatis today? And they're just punting the position.
Yeah, no, and that totally makes sense. I think that's a pretty smart way to go. But I also really like Jordan Westburg here today at third base. Again, we talked about we both like Detmers, but this Orioles lineup has been absolutely ridiculous, and he has been a huge part of that. Jordan Westburg has been like unreal, especially for being the guy who is kind of an afterthought as far as these Orioles prospects next to Colton Cowser and Jackson Holliday. Jordan Westburg has been amazing. He is just crushing the ball. He is in the heart of this lineup that is killing everybody. And especially with a lot of those other Orioles stars being lefties, getting to get some of those righty bats for cheaper in the Orioles lineup against Detmers. I like Jordan Westburg.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Back-to-back homers yesterday, him and Colton Cowser, because that lineup is just something else. And you get Westburg again against the lefty there. I do like that one for sure. Eugenio Suarez is interesting just because Lance Lynn is always liable to give up a home run. And Suarez does have some power there. Miguel Sano's been hitting the ball okay. He's $3,300 against Albert Suarez. Beatty's $3K. He's back in the lineup there. He's got a win. Anybody else for you?
Not really. I like Brett Beatty as a pay down. He hasn't been doing a whole lot lately, but I think, he still provides a pretty big bat for being that cheap. And I already highlighted, I liked Pete Alonso today. So I think, Mets are viable. So I like that. But beyond that, I don't think I like a whole lot else down at this end today.
Sure. At the shortstop position, Bobby Witt, Gunnar Henderson, Manny Machado, your top guys getting dual positional eligibility there. We had the cover of the morning show as Ha-Seong Kim at $4,500.
Yeah, I mean, this position's really hard for me today because I think I have two guys that feel like automatic locks between Ha-Seong Kim and Orlando Arcia, because you have both here facing lefties that are great hitters against lefties and feel like they're way too cheap for the quality they are, but they both right now only have that shortstop eligibility on DraftKings, so you got to pick one. So which one do you want to go for? Arcia, they're batting second again too against Weathers. We talked about how much he crushes lefties, but it's really hard to pass up Ha-Seong Kim today at 4,500 against Gomber in Coors Field. And both those plays just feel really easy, and I don't know really why you would go anywhere besides those two at shortstop today.
Yeah, I agree with you. You're hitting Arcia second, like you mentioned, and you have obviously Ha-Seong Kim there at 45. You can move Machado to third base. All of those guys make a lot of sense. We'll see if Blaze Alexander's in or out of the lineup. He left yesterday with a hamstring cramp. He was rather cheap. You got Willie Castro, who's been terrible, but if you're not in on Cannon today, he's $2,900, and that's probably it. Where's Mason Wynn? I would do Mason Wynn at $2,600.
I still like Mason Wynn too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you really need to save money, I'm okay with that also.
Yep. Dwayne, I have a question. GPP stacks haven't had a good hit rate. Should I mini stack it and get value? If not, what are the good teams to stack today? If you go check out the Fantasyland playbook, obviously Henry has a bunch of stacks here for today. I will say there's definitely a balance, right? In certain matchups, if you want to go 3 or 4 guys in a stack, that's fine for sure. I know Howard Bender likes really doing the 2-man stack because if you sell out for a lineup and they don't score, or the wrong end of the lineup scores, then you definitely are getting kind of bit there. I know the other day I stacked the top of the Braves lineup, and it was the bottom of the Braves lineup with Darno and all of them that did all the damage. And I'm like, great, I have $12,000 in Acuna and Olsen, and they have 2 runs scored. They weren't doing anything. But if you kind of limit your exposure or you go all in, it really depends on the strategy there. Stacking is a big part of MLB DFS. It's very difficult to just do a bunch of one-offs and have success. You basically need them all to homer. So you kind of need that chain effect of getting the right matchup in the right spot to stack in for sure. King of Smack wants to know, would Kim be better fit if I'm a Braves fan? Shouldn't put RC at second base. Yeah, well, they unfortunately, they got the dual positional, don't have dual positional eligibility for Kim here to kind of move him around the diamond there. So let's move to outfield. Getting a lot of top end options here. Acuna, Trout. I think Tatis obviously makes a lot of sense at $6K. Marcell Ozuna has been unstoppable at $5,400. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, Ozuna's been unreal. You can't go wrong with those Braves options or Tatis in Coors. I think really there's not a wrong choice. If I have gun to the head, have to pick somebody, I'm probably picking Ozuna just because he's hitting the ball better than anyone on the planet right now. Right. But yeah, I mean, if you're stacking Padres too and can afford throwing Tatis there in Coors, it works too. But yeah, Ozuna's just been ridiculous. How does he keep hitting home runs? His home run yesterday is still maintained the streak now of he has not gone 3 games without a home run this season.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Although his streak did end a couple there on the
Ozuna sitting at around 11% tonight for some ownership there. Working our way down the list again, Nolan Jones is there against Cease. If you're not going there at $4,800, Charlie Blackmon's $5K, Lourdes $51. Obviously these obvious low $5K guys. Jorge Soler against the lefty has been a popular play for us this season. A ton of power for Soler against Southpaws. When it comes to the mid 4K and under range, what are some of your favorite targets today?
I also like Brandon Nimmo there. Batting at the top of the Mets lineup against Keaton Wynn. Again, do you see that 2.8 average? That's not what you love, but 715 OPS, he still just provides really good offense.
But he had a super hot run there for a week or earlier this month. Maybe he picks it back up here.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's too good of a hitter not to. I also really like Anthony Santander. Again, I really like being able to grab some of these non-lefty bats, the Orioles, to kind of stack together today. And Santander brings steady production and good power. So I like that. I also love Lars Nootbaar. Mostly just because I love Lars Nootbaar. He's gets the Ratty and Brandon Pfaadt today.
Yep.
And he has one of the best names in all of baseball also. So
It is a good name. 4 hits in 4 straight games for him. And again, Brandon Pfaadt's like surface numbers have been terrible. Does have okay underlying like sabermetrics, but those don't always immediately show out either. I got Jock Peterson at 3,900. We know he's going to be in the lineup against Lynn with the lefty spot. Jurickson Profar has been one of my favorite values of the day. Again, a guy that hits lefties really well. $3,900. You get an under 4K play. I wish that lineup would come out. I think he and KB Sino might be near each other in the lineup as well. So if you're doing like sort of a cheaper bottom end stack there with the Padres, that could certainly work. Max Cupper's hitting 5th, some power from the left side against Cannon. Duvall, $3,600 against Weathers is interesting. And then King of Smack asked, do we think the best value team stack is Chicago? I mentioned obviously this morning, myself and Mark Pitts did the show. We did do Eloy, 3,500, and Gavin Sheets at 32 is a little 2-man stack against Paddock, but like I'm not going all in on White Sox. So
no, yeah, you want to go a real cheap 2-man stack, sure, but more than that, you're just asking to lose.
Yeah, it's not often that they score many a run. Dalton Varsho has been pretty good lately.
Yeah, Dalton Varsho is actually, I think, one of my favorite picks of the day. If I'm going to be honest here,
okay.
I wrote him up in the playbook too, and I think that he's kind of being overlooked because the overall numbers still are just like mediocre, but they're only mediocre because he was so bad for the first like 2 weeks of the season, and then he's been red hot since then. His last like 9 games have been unreal. He's crushing the ball. And so I really like Dalton Varsho. And again, I think Blue Jays are one of my more favorite stacks today of being able to especially get some of these cheaper lefty bats that are going up against Brady Singer. And Dalton Varsho has been not just like a quality hitter in the Blue Jays lineup, but he's been like the best hitter in the Blue Jays lineup this season, even with the really, really slow start. So I think Dalton Varsho is a really good play here for this cheap.
I can get behind it. Again, has some speed that kind of goes along with it as well, with his potential there, 32. Hitting 9, 3,100. You have Sean Bouchard again, if you're not in on Dylan Cease, getting some cheap Coors Field there. Anybody else for you as we go under? I mean, we made a joke on Friday, or I made the joke on Friday, that I wasn't playing Trevor Larnach. He was hitting cleanup and he homered. 2,600 in third today. Did you give Larnach a look here against Cannon?
I mean, sure, he's got power potential. If you, someone that you should shy away from. So especially you have, if you're going like Ryan Jeffers 2 and 4 and want to stack Larnach with him 3-4, like Trevor Larnach is, going to strike out 3 or 4 times a game and go 0-4, 0-5. But he also still has power potential. He was someone I was really high on when he was coming up, and it just hasn't really panned out. But like he still has a decent bat that can show up every once in a while. So for 2,600, why not?
I agree with you on that one. Any other value outfielders for today?
I don't think so.
All right. You got a home run call for us today?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Dalton Varsho. I'm gonna double down on my Varsho love today, and he's not a giant power bat or anything, but the way he's hitting the ball lately, I know Kaufman is not an easy place to homer in, but I'm still gonna go with it and say that Dalton Varsho really shows up and hits a homer today.
Yeah, I'm fully on board with that one here. I'm gonna go with Hyesung Kim for me today. Again, sort of just talking about that the power that he's had against lefties, the Coors Field, I know can be we say it's cheating sometimes, picking the obvious Coors Field play there, but I just really like this matchup. I don't think Austin Gomber is anything special. Hyesung Kim, one of my favorite plays of the day, so I'm just gonna ride that pick out here for me.
Yeah, I don't think Coors is cheating for home run because it's a big park factor, but it's only like 9th or 10th in home run factor. Actually,
Sure.
like it's not like it's a bunch of home runs that get hit there. So, like, but I love the pick though.
Yep. All right, let's get a lineup built here. We were in on Cease. See what we can get done here. Cease and Kikuchi are the two we want here, or did you want to go cheaper with like Paddock against the White Sox?
Yeah, I like playing around with Paddock, but I think the smarter move is Cease Kikuchi. That just seems like the best duo today to go after.
Let's see what we can get. I think we went Campusano.
Yeah.
Like Varsho, we'll plug that in the outfield. I like Hyesung Kim.
Yeah, especially if you're going with
4,300. What did you say there?
Oh, I was just saying, seconding the Kim, especially with Campusano, getting to get those two together.
Yeah. Let's see if we did the Fletcher punt, that gives us 4,800, so that can get us Machado. Can we do Tatis? Can we get just 4-stack this? 3,850.
Okay.
All right. So what if we did, since we're not doing, what's our? Let's see. Do we have? Do Lauren?
Yeah.
And then 51. So one off Christian Walker against Lynn or Mountcastle versus Detmers?
I think I honestly prefer Mountcastle, even with being able to afford either. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. We got $500 left over to kind of play around with the lineup here. We got Dylan Cease, Yusei Kikuchi. Got Padre stacking Coors, Campusano, Mountcastle, Fletcher, Machado, Kim, Varsho, Tatis, and Larnach. So we got a couple of one-off plays around our Coors field stack, and we're spending up at pitching here today. Brian De La Cruz, 3,800. What are your thoughts here? You got Elder. I personally kind of like Elder today, Downing, but what are your thoughts on Brian De La Cruz or just Miami in general today? Would you take a look against Elder? He says 4 through 8 versus Elder today.
Yeah, I mean, Brian De La Cruz is having a decent season, but yeah, I kind of don't hate Elder today either, and I don't love the Miami offense. I also just am not a big believer in the batter versus pitcher stats. Sure, 4 for 8's like pretty significantly good, but it's just such a small sample still that I don't know if it really has any meaning. So again, I don't think it's a terrible move, but I don't think De La Cruz is one I'd be in on today. I don't really want to go after the Marlins.
Yeah, Braves pitching bad most of the times. I mean, they've been good this year. They haven't been terrible. And Elder's not like a guy who's never pitched in the league before. He pitched up last year and had some success when he was on the mound. So, guys, that's our show here for today. If you haven't already, tossed a like down. Is a free way to support what we do here on the Fantasy Alarm channel. So we appreciate all of that. Justin, you are a bit late, but that's okay. You can go watch the replay here on the show. You can also get us in the Discord. I know Henry's in there. The playbook will be updated. It is a 7:20 roster lock today here. So, be on the lookout for that. A little bit of a later start than usual. So you'll have certainly some more time for these lineups to come in. Do we know why the line changed on Phillies red? Do we have any pitch? Bryce Harper got ruled out today, paternity leave, Jaden. So maybe that may have a little bit to do with it on that one there. So, guys, again, we appreciate you all tuning in. We'll have the preview show. Myself and Howard Bender returns tonight, so be on the lookout for that. He'll be back in the live stream tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. Until then, everybody, we'll catch you later.